Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves was in theaters a while back, and a couple of my buddies said it was pretty good. Wasn't there a D&D film back in the 2000s? Was it any good?
You don't like that, do you? Good. I could use every ounce of your rage.
Good gravy, not even close! Alright, I'm just going to jump in. Rip off the band-aid as quick as possible.
Oh, you sucker!
Brought to us by New Line Cinema and produced by Sweet Pea Entertainment, Dungeons and Dragons takes place in the land of Izmir, where a power struggle takes place between an evil mage Profian, played by Jeremy Irons, and an Empress Savina, played by Thora Birch. Profian learns of the legendary Rod of Safriel and plans to use it to control an army of dragons and railroad his way over any resistance and take over Izmir. Thus, a ragtag group of adventurers and Marlon Wayne set out to beat Profion to the rod and save the land of Izmir from evil. Yikes, this movie was terrible. There's so much to unpack here, from overacting, underacting, CG that was aged when it came out, bad fight choreography, bad writing, cliche characters. I really don't know where to begin. Someone throw me a bone.
Run, your ladyship, but you'll never run far enough.
Okay, that helps. Straight out of the gate, Jeremy Irons is hamming it up and mugging his way through the movie, ironically being the most entertaining thing about the damn thing.
Rain from the sky!
It's like someone stuck his junk in a vacuum cleaner.
Rain from the sky!
Oh crap, I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Then there's the other end of the spectrum, with Thora Birch, who appears to be sleepwalking her way through most of her scenes, delivering her lines like she's reading them off screen because she couldn't be bothered to memorize the damn things before she got on set.
Interests of the people.
The man who convinced you to take the scepter from me so that he would leave the state defenseless.
And just generally lacking direction in all of her scenes. Plus, whenever Profian calls her kid, I just think about this. Well, let's get on with our heroes then. First, we have the main character and his comedy relief sidekick. I'll let you guess which is which.
You said this was gonna be easy.
No, I said it wasn't impossible.
You see? That's the same thing you said when we robbed that little halfling's house. And who'd he catch? Me. And who'd he beat from the waist down? Me.
Are you gonna jump?
For the leader of the group, we have Ridley, played by Justin Wells. I'm not going to knock on his acting that much. Oh, it's bad, but he split his head open for this movie, so I'm going to let it slide. During the shoot for this scene, Wells was launched against the wall and got injured, which delayed his shoot for a bit, which is ironic. In the prior scene, Wells put himself in jeopardy just to get this shot. Even though this scene was one dungeon full of booby traps lifted straight from Indiana Jones, I still got to give props where they're due. Then there's Marlon Wayans. Marlon Wayans is Marlon Wayans. He's the comedy relief for the film. Sadly, I was laughing at everything else in this film but Marlon Wayans. Nothing about this character was funny. Anytime he was doing his shtick, I wanted to choke the shit out of my TV. This may come off as mean, but once Wayne was done with shooting his scenes, I was relieved. And I'm pretty sure he was too, because he was off to shoot a better movie, Requiem for a Dream.
See ya.
Hey, you can't leave. We just started.
You're right, I should finish the game. I take my +1 long sword, stab myself in the face with it. I'm dead, I've got a date with a girl. Bye!
Then we have Marina Pretenza, played by Zoe McKellen. Zoe's acting is fine for the most part, other than her character being a shut-in bookworm that yearns for adventure and then adventure falls into her lap. The one positive is that she's not helpless or whiny. That's Wayne's job. Marina is actually capable for a large chunk of the movie. She gets the group out of sticky situations and drives the party forward to try to find the rod. Except when she gets captured and needs to be rescued, which leads to the one black guy getting killed later off. I did say the writing was cliched, didn't I? The rest of the heroes party is not much of note, other than the fact that they are one note. You have the elven tracker, Norda, who is in service to the Empress, played by Kristen Wilson. With all the over-the-top acting going on, she's playing it as robotic as possible. Maybe that's what they were going for, being a cold, calculated, pointy-eared person. Never heard of that before. The final member of the party is a dwarf named Elwood Gutworthy, played by Lee Arenberg. I had to look up the character's name because as far as the movie is concerned, his role is dwarf, being a smelly, loud drunkard that wields a battle axe and spouting dialogue that leaves you speechless. Kinda sounds like my uncle.
If I ain't drinking, you sure ain't shopping. Come on.
We're acquainted.
Is that the elf you were drooling over?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way. But yeah, that's her. Pretty, huh?
They all look alike to me.
Yeah, that's definitely my uncle. Ooh. The other character of note is the right-hand man of Profion, Damodar, played by Bruce Payne.
Pain.
Yeah, I'm not making that up. That's his real name. Resisting really obvious joke. Low hanging fruit. Damodar is the competition and foil for Ridley's group to get to the rod first, and other than the fact that it looks like the man's been slurping on a blue ice pop throughout the movie and being Profion's bottom bitch, he says his fair share of memorable quotes.
Brigades at every sewer, entrance and exit. I want them found. Now.
Dude, do you have something in your throat?
Just like you thieves. Always taking things that don't belong to you.
Yeah, that's pretty much the definition of the thief. In fact, it's the job title.
You jackass.
The tagline for this film is a special effects extravaganza. Okay, sure. Tiny problem though. The CG in this film was dated when it came out. The dragons, the monsters, the CG cities with their over-the-top establishing shots all look like PS1 cutscenes. Not all the effects are bad. In fact, this movie illustrates a point that practical effects will always be superior to CG. From the floors turning into quicksand and moving skeletons, hell, even the Indiana Jones ripoff tombs still look a lot better than the CG stuff. Some other positives is the sets themselves. Most of this film was shot in and around Prague in the Czech Republic. The scenes where the political debates took place were in the Opera House in Prague, and in this scene, this was the Empress's Chapel, which was also shot in Prague. The Straw Hat Library was being used for the laboratory and magical school, and Profion's lair, being especially interesting, is shot in a place called the Bone Chapel. Every single one of those bones is real. After we're finished here, look up these locations. They will blow your mind on how amazing they are. The sad background of this film is that it could have been much better. The troubles lie in the production. According to IMDb, Francis Ford Coppola was on the short list to direct this film, but due to legal issues and certain parties sabotaging the project, directing fell on to one person, the guy who bought the rights to make the movie in the first place, Courtney Solomon, who was already writer and producer of the movie. On top of that, this was Solomon's first project ever. He didn't have any credits prior to this film. He's doing much better today, so I don't feel bad dunking on his passion project that he spent 10 years trying to get made. Trying his best to share one of his favorite pastimes with the world. Nah, I don't feel bad one bit.
You suck, you jackass.
So when one of my friends said the new D&D movie was leagues better than this one, that's kind of a low bar, considering that it has to beat this.
Destiny.
Well, if you're planning on a bad movie night, have some friends over and get a case of beer and give Dungeons and Dragons a go. One of the positives I can guarantee is this movie is not boring, far from it. Well, I've run my jaw long enough. If you liked the video, punch that thumbs up button, and if you want to hear more, subscribe. If you know something I didn't cover, leave a comment down below. We'd all love to hear it. And if you do all three, I'll give you a cookie. Don't worry about your address. I already know where you live. Y'all take care.